Right now, active tornado warnings are on the ground across 6 states simultaneously, and the worst of this system has not even fired yet. We are 24 hours into a 48-hour severe weather corridor stretching 700 miles from North Texas to West Virginia. And tonight is the deadlier half. Somewhere in Memphis right now, a dad just got home from work, kids are doing homework, dinner is on the stove, and his phone has not made a single sound yet. Before midnight tonight, that same family is going to need to be in a basement or interior room because the squall line tracking toward Memphis after 9 p.m. is no joke. At the 6-minute mark, I am going to show you the exact overnight window that every meteorologist I follow is quietly talking about, and it is not what most people are preparing for. And I will give you the genuine good news about what happens after Thursday, because after a stretch like this one, y'all deserve to hear something positive. But first, here is what makes today different from the previous 2 days in this sequence. And good Lord, the gap is significant. On Monday and Tuesday, the atmosphere was loaded, but today dew points along the I-35 corridor west of Fort Worth have climbed into the low to mid-70s, the highest all year. 200 miles to the west near Midland and Lubbock, those same dew points are sitting in the single digits. You go from mid-70s to single digits inside of 200 miles. That dry line contrast is the engine behind 5-inch hailstones, and it is running at full throttle right now. The Storm Prediction Center issued a level 4 out of 5 moderate risk, that cherry red zone, for North Texas and the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. That is 4 out of 5 on the scale, folks, and it was upgraded just this morning, which tells you how fast this atmosphere is evolving. Hailstones up to 5 inches in diameter are in play for the DFW corridor that is wider than your fist, and at the speed it falls, just through a windshield. Storm energy values are topping out at 4,000 to 5,000 joules per kilogram, the highest readings we have seen all year, concentrated right along the triple point in North Texas. Think of it like a pressure cooker on the stove all morning. When that cap finally breaks this afternoon, it is going to go fast and it is going to go violent. The first storms fired along the Red River between southern Oklahoma and North Texas before 10 a.m. today, and they were already producing large hail and damaging winds right out of the gate. That is what you get when dew point gradients are this sharp. Storms do not ease into it, they explode. Here is something I want to be straight with you about before we get into the city breakdown, because I think honesty matters more than just moving on. Yesterday's setup had higher-end tornado watches posted across a wide corridor, and we ended up with only 3 confirmed tornado reports out of the whole event. I have been sitting with that all morning, and here is what I think happened. The low-level shear was weaker than the models suggested, and storm mode went linear faster than expected. Today, the shear profile is similar, so the primary story here is large hail and damaging straight-line winds, not a major tornado outbreak, and I want you calibrated correctly on that. The tornado threat is real and non-zero, especially in eastern Arkansas and northwest Mississippi tonight, but it is secondary, and I would rather tell you the truth than hype the wrong hazard. Let me walk through the geography now so you know exactly where you stand. And after this, drop your city in the comments so I can come back to you specifically. Dallas and Fort Worth folks, you are in the bullseye for the largest hailstones today, and any vehicle sitting in a driveway right now is a decision you will regret. McKinney, Denton, Sherman, and the northern DFW suburbs. You are inside that solid moderate risk, and a tornado warning is already active in Jack County just north of you as of this morning. Oklahoma City. Oklahoma is already producing severe storms today. The enhanced risk zone clips your southern suburbs, and your window to finalize a shelter plan is closing fast. Little Rock, Conway, and Fort Smith. All 3 of you are in the orange enhanced risk. Tornado watches are already up for eastern Arkansas, and you need to be weather aware before 4 p.m. Shreveport and Monroe, Louisiana, you are sitting under a tornado watch right now, facing 60 to 70 mile-per-hour wind gusts and strong tornado potential as storms shift south and east this afternoon. Jackson, Mississippi, you are in the enhanced risk corridor with a tornado watch active, and the outflow boundary setup tonight puts you at elevated tornado risk after dark. Tupelo, you are also under that tornado watch, and the corridor from Tupelo northeast toward Memphis is one of the zones I am watching most carefully for the overnight window. Memphis, you are in that level 3 orange zone with a tornado watch in effect until 10 p.m., and your peak severe weather window runs from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. tonight. Nashville, you are in the severe thunderstorm watch until 1 a.m. The storm complex is tracking directly towards you after midnight, and the low-level jet is going to be howling overhead tonight. Knoxville and eastern Tennessee, you sit at the fringe, but terrain-funneled winds can make embedded tornadoes nearly invisible at night, so stay weather-aware through midnight. Birmingham and northern Alabama, you are in the severe thunderstorm watch, and damaging straight-line winds are the primary threat as that MCS races east-southeast toward you in the late evening. Atlanta and northern Georgia, you are at the edge of an isolated risk this afternoon, and outflow boundaries from tonight push your way overnight, so do not dismiss this completely. St. Louis and Springfield, Missouri, you are in the severe thunderstorm watch, and the storm complex pushes through in the late evening hours with gusty winds and hail on the table. West Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, and North Carolina. A separate low pressure lifts toward Pittsburgh tomorrow and puts you in a marginal risk for scattered severe weather Wednesday afternoon. Washington, D.C., Richmond, and Charlotte. You are all in that Wednesday marginal risk, and any storm that fires along that outflow boundary can produce damaging gusts and hail on an isolated basis. Now, here is the part of this forecast I promised you at the top. The thing the meteorological community has been quietly talking about that is not showing up in most coverage today. This storm system does not peak at sunset. It peaks after midnight, and nobody is ready for a severe weather event they are sleeping through. The worst of the outflow boundary interactions, the embedded tornado risk, the strongest squall line winds, all of that is calendared for the 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. window. Nighttime severe weather is significantly more deadly than daytime events, plain and simple, because you cannot see a rotating wall cloud at 1 a.m. in a rainstorm. Your window to reach shelter from a tornado warning at 1 a.m. is a fraction of what it would be on a sunny afternoon, and I mean a small fraction. A retired school principal named Dorothy from outside Memphis told me the thing that saved her family was the weather radio already plugged in on the nightstand, not on a shelf in the kitchen. You must have a method that wakes you up tonight. A NOAA weather radio, we-enabled phone, something, because a siren you cannot hear through walls is not a plan. Here's the timeline, locked in. Storms begin firing along the Red River and out of Fort Smith around 2 to 4 this afternoon. By 5 to 7 p.m., that line gets seriously intense, 60 to 80 mile per hour, damaging winds. Large hail with any stronger supercells still discrete ahead of the main line. By 8 to 10 p.m., the squall line is pushing through the heart of Memphis, moving through eastern Arkansas into western Tennessee. This is your peak window for that corridor. Between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., the complex races east-southeast into Alabama, reaches northwestern Florida before dawn, and the damaging wind risk stays with it the entire way. Wednesday morning is quiet, but outflow boundaries from tonight lay across coastal Texas and central Louisiana, locked and loaded to trigger new storm development by Wednesday afternoon. By Wednesday evening, a separate storm cluster races east toward Georgia and the Carolinas as the parent low lifts toward Pittsburgh. That is your Thursday concern if you are in the mid-Atlantic. Drop your city in the comments right now and tell me what the sky looks like. I work through every single one, and tonight you want someone watching your specific area. A contractor named Earl who rebuilds after storm damage told me something flat out. Every home he has worked on where nobody got hurt had one thing in common. They left before it arrived. If you are in a mobile home anywhere in the enhanced or moderate risk zones today, do not wait for a warning. Move to a sturdy structure before the storms arrive this afternoon. Get to a sturdy structure before the storms arrive this afternoon, not when the sirens are going off and the rain is already sideways. Dallas, Fort Worth, and North Texas, get vehicles into a garage or under cover before noon because 5-inch hailstones falling at 100 miles per hour will total a car in under 30 seconds. Little Rock, Shreveport, Jackson, and Memphis, identify your shelter location right now, not when the sirens go off, because thinking clearly at midnight under stress is harder than you think. For everyone in tonight's impact zones, you need a weather alert method that will wake you up between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. That is the whole ballgame tonight. Turn around, do not drown, These storms will dump 1 to 3 inches of rain fast, flooded roadways will be everywhere, and just 12 inches of moving water can carry away your vehicle. Charge your phone and your backup battery right now. When multiple counties lose power at the same time, you do not want to be the one stuck at 12%. If there is somebody in your life in Memphis, Dallas, Little Rock, or Shreveport who does not know what is coming tonight, please send this to them before you close this video. Here is the bigger picture behind all of this. A powerful cold front is about to sweep through, and the temperature swing over the next 72 hours is going to be genuinely jarring. Temperatures across the plains drop into the low to mid-30s Wednesday morning as far south as Kansas. Frost and freeze conditions returning to a wide swath of the country by Thursday. Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan are all in the freeze zone by Thursday and by Friday that extends east into Pennsylvania, New York, and Vermont. If you are north of the Mason-Dixon line and you planted tomatoes, peppers, or anything cold sensitive in the last 2 weeks, cover those plants before Wednesday morning. No excuses. Here is the kicker that most folks are not talking about. This frost and freeze risk is expected to continue through Mother's Day well into the middle of May based on both major models. That northwest flow pattern is locked in, the GFS and the European agree, and it means one thing for gardeners and farmers: be patient because it is not done. Beneficial rains are coming with it. East Texas, Louisiana, southern Arkansas, and much of Mississippi are looking at 1 to 3 inches of much-needed rainfall through tonight and tomorrow. Here is the straight talk on the pattern. What we are looking at is a positive PNA setup, a strong ridge anchored along the west coast acting like a wall. That wall keeps funneling cold air and storm systems through the deep south repeatedly, which means the severe weather season is not taking a break anytime soon. It is just moving around. Storm after storm is going to ride that jet stream anchored across the southern states through the first week of May. And, good grief, this atmosphere is not tired. For the Corn Belt, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Wisconsin, the second week of May shows a drier signal on the European ensemble, and that could finally get farmers into the fields. Looking ahead to around May 2nd, another system is waiting in the wings. But here is the real deal. This one is shaping up as a beneficial rainfall producer, not a tornado outbreak. Its track along the Gulf Coast favors soaking rains over the drought-stricken southeast. Coastal Carolinas, southern Georgia, Alabama, North Florida, areas that are bone dry right now. Further out toward mid to late May, there are signals suggesting that ridge finally drifts east and the central plains warm up. Real spring weather may actually be coming, folks. I will be honest with you, the models have been jumping around on the exact timing of that pattern shift, so take the mid-May warm-up as a hopeful signal, not a locked forecast. The 2026 severe weather season has already logged more than 128 NWS warnings for the Chicago region through mid-April alone, and the southern corridor has been far busier. What that tells you is that the atmosphere this spring is running unusually aggressive, and setups like today are not accidents. They are the product of months of accumulated energy in this pattern. Do yourself a solid and share this video right now, because someone in your circle is sitting in one of these impact zones tonight and does not know what is coming. Here is something worth understanding about today's tornado threat that the top-line risk level does not fully capture. The low-level shear, the ingredient that makes supercells spin up strong tornadoes, is on the weaker side today compared to Monday and Tuesday. What that means in plain language, the storms today are more likely to produce violent straight-line winds and baseball-size hail than long-track tornadoes. But here is where it gets complicated. The outflow boundary tonight in eastern Arkansas and northwest Mississippi creates localized wind shear enhancement. Where that outflow boundary intersects with the advancing squall line, you can get brief, intense tornado spin-ups, and those happen fast, with almost no warning time. The low-level jet tonight is running at 50 to 60 miles per hour, just a mile or two above the surface, and thunderstorms reach up and drag those winds straight to the ground. That is exactly how entire neighborhoods lose power in under 3 minutes. No tornado needed, just a straight-line wind event hitting like a freight train, plain and simple. One more thing before we close. Know the difference between a watch and a warning, because tonight that distinction could matter to somebody you love. A tornado watch means conditions are favorable. Have your plan ready and stay alert. A tornado warning means a tornado has been detected. Stop everything and get to your shelter immediately, no exceptions. Here is what that 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. window means in real terms. If you are not already in a safe location when that first warning fires tonight, the clock is not on your side. Here is your closing summary, and I want to make sure these numbers stick with you because they are the ones that matter tonight. Active tornado warnings across 6 states at the same time. We started this video with that number, and the overnight hours are not going to make it smaller. A 700-mile corridor, a 48-hour sequence, 5,000 joules of storm energy still loaded in the atmosphere, and hailstones up to 5 inches in diameter still possible tonight. The nocturnal peak window, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., is the number I want burned into your memory before you close this video. The folks who come through nights like this are always the ones who had a plan before the first storm fired. Shelter identified, alert set, and they did not wait for sirens. After tonight's complex clears by Thursday, there are no extended severe weather outlooks on the table for several days. And after this relentless back-to-back sequence, that break is earned. We are going to be tracking every development as it unfolds tonight. The North Texas supercell phase, the squall line push through the Mid-South, and that overnight peak window. Make sure notifications are on so you do not miss a single update as this event evolves through the evening. Go check on your neighbors before these storms arrive. A community that looks out for each other always comes through stronger on the other side. Stay safe out there, take care of the people around you, and we will see you in the next one.